Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with the voice of Penn State football and men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
You're back on again. I mean,
as on fire as Penn State wrestling was yesterday.
What? You? What are you talking about? Do you go back and watch the show? Did you see the picks you made in yesterday's games?
Oh, yeah, that was the day we'd love to forget.
I mean, on fire.
Hey, my bracket was perfect until the tournament started.
I hate when that happens.
That interrupts everything.
Darn it. So let's start with wrestling, because yesterday is just one of those Penn State statement days that you dream about.
Yeah.
And you go 20-0, but you not only go 20-0, Braden Davis gives up a takedown.
Yep. Sure.
In the opening match for Penn State in the tournament. And it's the last time a Penn State wrestler is taken down in the tournament. Are you kidding me?
Unbelievable. It is literally...
You sit there and you can't put together a better scenario.
No.
Right? Or as Jeremy Renner would say, scenario. Right.
49ers fan, Jeremy Renner.
Well, that explains some of his issues. No wonder there are moments you're like, hey, is he all right? You sit there and you go through 19 matches after that, including Davis the second time through, and give up no takedowns. They're up 39.5. Nebraska's next at 28. And today will be the quarters and the semis. You make the semifinals, you're automatically an All-American. Again, we talked earlier about A, winning the team race, B, getting as many individual champions as possible, and then C, trying to do something that's only been done one other time. Minnesota in 2001 had 10 All-Americans. That's the only time it's ever happened. Can Penn State match that? And it is not out of the realm of possibility, especially based on what we saw yesterday.
No. That's absolutely not out of their own possibility. I think that, to me, there's always something special about this team when they just turn it up a notch in the NCAA championships, and that's every year, literally. You look at the Big Ten performance sometimes with this team, and you say, "Ooh, they got to fix this." Every time they get to the NCAAs, there's no questions asked. This team just turns it up on another level all the time.
But I
when it gets to there.
I think it's because Cale, look, he has no control over the Big Ten schedule.
Right. No.
So he has no control over that.
No.
But he does control his schedule in non-conference.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? And I'm not talking about November, December. I'll talk to it a little bit. They build up, get to the conference, do what they have to do in the conference. Then he always has that senior day dual meet. Remember a couple of years ago, everybody was going to the duels and doing the duels before they went. And he's like, I'm not doing that. Right? I don't, okay, we're at the point of the season where I don't care what anybody says.
Absolutely.
They're all beat up.
Yeah, there's no question.
Okay, they're all beat up. Okay, Carter Starachi. Oh, Starachi's beat up. I don't care what.
Last year.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but he's beat up right now. Yeah. Why? Because it's just like it takes a physical pounding to do this over and over again. You're going to get beat up in some ways. That's why we talk about in basketball and in football all the time about you've got to taper down as you go because, look, everybody's sore. Okay, everybody is. It's a real grind. And Cale understands the grind. That's why he schedules the way he does. I go through the grind of the Big Ten. Boom, we're going to do senior day. It's going to be against a program. Sure, we respect everybody, but a program I know that we should be beating and that all my guys should be beating, where it's just enough wrestling to tune them up and just enough rest to make sure they're ready for the Big Tens. And then just enough rest to make sure that they are ready for the NCAAs. He schedules and does this in such a way where he creates a peak.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, it's also why they do the duels they do in November and January. Obviously, they did the Southern Scuffle for many years. You got the first look a lot of times at who you are going to face in the ideally in the national championship battle. Yeah. So absolutely, just prepares this team like no other, and it's. Yeah. I hate to say, I'm never one to say this guy's the greatest, this guy's the greatest. There's nobody better than Cale. And the numbers show it.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure on that one. The numbers show it. The clear indication.
When you say it, I get worried because you thought the 49ers were winning the whole thing last year. So I worry about your proclamations. I worry about that. No, but he's the best. Now,
absolutely.
Let's take it one step further, though. He'll be the first to tell you he's one of the best because he has the best wrestlers.
Sure.
Okay. Which is, I got it. And that's something that. It's the we can't discount that. Hopefully, along the way, we'll get to Carter Sirachi winning, and then we can have a retirement party. 5 years. Gable Steveson. Hey, let's go. Come on, Gable. Something tells me we're going to find one more year for Steveson. Gable Steveson. One more. I can see it.
One more year.
Right. One more year for Gable Steveson.
He maybe tries out for one other NFL team before that.
Yeah.
Then has another year.
Why not? Why not? But, it is one of the truly great stories. Now, they're still going to win 3 more to win the national championship.
No, far from
So you're only 40% of the way through.
As good as they were yesterday, they're technically only up 13 on Nebraska, 13 and a half on Nebraska.
Yeah, but the point values are.
Yeah, and they're going to go up. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it is still got to keep it up. There's no doubt about it. They know what's at stake.
I mean, the bottom line is, we put so much on. We talk about coaches all the time. Cale's a great coach.
Mm-hmm.
Casey Cunningham's a great coach.
Yep.
Cody Sanderson's a great coach. They're great coaches. But in sports, no offense.
Yeah.
It's about the horses. It's not about the jockeys. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, I know it's too.
That's what.
It's a prospect that's too simple for somebody to comprehend. You need to have the dudes.
And you're not wrong. It's
right.
What,
they've got dudes.
Yeah. It's what drives me nuts.
They've got dudes.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's what drives me nuts in the NFL when people talk about. This guy's a system guy. This guy's a system guy. You know what? He's working in that system, which is a lot of people aren't doing more often than not.
There's too many people that don't do well in the system.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? Now, when they talk about a system guy, okay, now I'm talking about going to the next level.
Sure.
because they're not going to be running that system in all likelihood at the next level.
Right.
Do they have the capability of running whatever offense there? Now, that's the question that needs to be asked.
Absolutely.
It's not that he's a system guy. They're saying, well, I said he was put into a system. He succeeded in it. Now the question is going to be, can he change gears into somebody else's? Because they could change coaches at the system school.
Yeah.
And we find out the same thing. That's what you need to find out. And then you've got the self-proclaimed genius in Kyle Shanahan.
That's right.
Your guy.
Well, and the other thing is,
that's your guy. It's your guy. That's right. It's your guy.
Okay. And that's why poor teams typically do not have a quarterback that succeeds. When you change your offensive coordinator 5 times in 5 years, you're going to affect the quarterback.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
And that is a big issue. And like you look at the college level, like I mean, Ohio State this year has all new coordinators. It's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Penn State last year had 3 new coordinators. Well,
yes. Both different scenarios. I'm talking firing the coordinator.
Okay. Well, I'm saying but Andy and Stig both stayed. That's huge.
That was huge.
Okay. So now you add in Jim Knowles.
Yep.
And that's the way it is. Pros. I mean. So, we'll see. But for Penn State, they've got the best coach.
Absolutely.
So they've got the best jockey. And they've got the best horses. This is Flavian Pat on top of Secretariat. Go, baby, go. Now, before we get to the tournament, the basketball tournament, okay, I've got to get to this, and it's the Kevin Willard story. So this is Kevin Willard. So I'm about to start the talk show last night, and Dick sends me this text. Dick Girardi, my apologies. I have a tendency once in a while with the people I work with to just refer to them by their first names, and with the assumption you know who I'm talking about, and that's wrong on my part. Kevin Willard on coaching rumors and contract status. I've addressed it with them directly. I'll say this, Damon, that's Damon Evans, and I talked on Sunday night right before the selection show. He gave me a term sheet right before Selection Sunday. I wasn't really focused on it. Been focused on this team and this. Damon's talked to my agent. I talked to Damon this morning at length about where we are. Obviously, it's difficult right now because I think we know his situation. He's probably going to SMU. Like, I'm looking around like, I didn't know he was going to SMU. And they're like, look, it's not like I'm not plugged into what's going on in the conference. I am plugged into what's going on in the conference. I didn't know Damon Evans was going to SMU. So it's kind of tough to negotiate with somebody that might not be there. Okay, great. This is going really well. All right. But I need to make fundamental changes to the program. That's what I'm focused on right now. That's why probably a deal hasn't got done, because I need to see fundamental changes done. I want this program to be great. I want it to be the best in the country. I want to win a national championship. Okay, those are all I completely understand where he's coming from here. But there's things that need to change. When you're in a place for 3 years and you put your heart and soul into it, you kind of sit there and say, okay, wait a second. For us to be really successful, X, Y, and Z needs to change first and foremost. I need to make sure that we are where we need to be with NIL, where we need to be with revenue share. Okay? Right? So I'm on board with him there. You've got to have that. You have to. If you don't have that, if you shortchange either one of those, you've got big issues today. We'll get to Will Wade in a moment. Right? So we've been one of the worst, if not the lowest, in NIL in the last 2 years. That's what he claims. So first and foremost, I have to make fundamental change where I can do the things that I want to do with my program. Okay. NIL, Maryland is in a base where there is money around there. Okay? Until they changed administrations, it was the land of 100% employment. It's not quite maybe that right now. I got that. So he says, now this is where he goes off the rails a bit. I understand where he's coming from, but this is where he goes off the rails. I wanted to spend an extra night in New York this year to celebrate Christmas with my team. And I was told I can't do that because it's too expensive. Well, he didn't ask us to spend an extra night at Dollywood. Okay?
Yeah.
Where in Tennessee, the hotel prices might be a little bit less than Manhattan. The meals might be a little less expensive than Manhattan. It is expensive. So I got that part. Okay? So I don't know how we can be a top-tier program and I can't spend one extra night in New York because it's too expensive. So there's fundamental things I'm fighting for my team and my program. It's not so much about me. I want to make sure that whatever we do going forward, we're successful and we're successful at the highest rate. So I'm confident that we'll get things done. It's a little difficult right now, I'm not going to lie, but I'm confident that no matter who we're negotiating with, at the end of the day, this program is going to be in a great spot. And that's really my focus, is this tournament, this team, and this program. Well, it doesn't sound to me like you're focused on this team, this tournament, this program. That was wild. Wild. And it's not as if he has bad points. Okay. But wow. Okay, so let's get to Will Wade. Okay. As you know, I have said many times, you don't want to be the person that replaces the legend. You want to be the person after that. Okay. And we've said that many times about coaching changes. Mm-hmm. Now let's go to the other end of the spectrum. You don't want to be the school that hires the renegade that is in deep trouble with the NCAA or needs image rehabilitation. You want to be the next school after that to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to Rick Pitino. Iona goes out, quote, takes a chance. He shows right away, wow, he's still got it. And St. John's hires him. And now, who is not only winning, who is being celebrated for his brilliance as a coach in this tournament? Right? It's Rick Pitino. Okay? And that happens a lot. Okay? Who is being celebrated as the head football coach at the University of Texas? Steve Sarkisian. Remember how everything ended for him at USC. It took him a long time to work his way back. He did it through Nick Saban in Alabama. Yep. And then when the time came, and he also had a one-year stint with the Falcons. Then he went back to Alabama. All right. Okay. Lane Kiffin. Alabama, Florida Atlantic.
Yep.
This is after the USC Tennessee stuff. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Florida Atlantic, then Ole Miss.
Yep.
Hugh Freeze. Liberty.
Yep.
Now Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, now we get you to Will Wade. And Will Wade, his story I think most of us know. Look, when you're on an FBI wiretap, that normally isn't good.
No. Nope.
Right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, just tell me from your personal experience. Oh no, was that?
Well, yeah.
Not the right time.
They looked at me more than they looked at LSU. That's for sure.
Not the right time to bring this up. No. I was just asking. Hey, he's just so touchy. Okay. So let's get to Will Wade. He is sitting in college basketball's purgatory. Okay. And he goes to LSU. And everybody knows. I mean, and let's give credit where credit's due, because I thought my friend Brendan Quinn, and he wrote this article a year ago. This is a year ago he wrote this article. Because last year, of course, McNeese State made the tournament. Now, they got blown up by Gonzaga in round one. Well, yesterday, of course, they beat Clemson. And now they beat Clemson. See, what struck me was, I knew Clemson was not an athletic team. Obviously, I saw them play twice in person. Yeah. I could see they don't have, they've got an athlete here or there, but they're not really a great athletic team. McNeese State has athletes. And you have to remember, Lake Charles, Louisiana is a place, I don't know, is it about 80 miles from Baton Rouge? And I'll give you an example of how tough it's been at Lake Charles. A place that a lot of people like to go to there is a restaurant called Mr. Bill's Seafood Express. Okay? You know, and people down there, they love it. It's a place to go. That's where, when they do the selection, McNeese State would go there for their selections and things like that. Mr. Bill's Seafood Express. Right? They have had 4, not just like McNeese State's playing bad in basketball and everything like that. They had 4 awful storms that went through there. I mean, awful. Where they had to rebuild everything. So you're rebuilding from COVID. They're rebuilding from 4 awful storms. Mr. Bill's Seafood, so popular there, was closed for 2.5 years because of the storms. That's how bad that it's been in that area. Okay? Well, here's Wade. He goes through the LSU situation. And he says, hey, look. In the LSU situation, remember, he's on wiretaps about money, things like that. It doesn't look good. It's not great. Right? I mean, it looks like he is just like, and if you watch the HBO documentary, The Scheme, which I originally thought was going to be about you and selling Girl Scout cookies, it turned out it was about basketball.
That's right.
Christian Dawkins praised Will Wade for not cooperating with any investigation. Right? And he says that in there. And, Wade's talking about money, players, things like that, all stuff that's legal now. Right? But he's always been ultra aggressive, and he's always had people that have looked at him and said, with that one eyebrow, like, Will Wade, oh boy. Okay? So now he's about 130 miles from Baton Rouge. He still had a show cause on him, so he had a 10-game suspension for his first year at McNeese State. He had 2 years of recruiting restrictions, a 2-year show cause penalty, which, by the way, is up. And they had lost 23 games the year before. He tells everybody at his opening press conference, we will win 23 games this year. He was wrong. They won 30. Okay. Now, they lost to Gonzaga in the opening round of the tournament. obviously, especially at that level, they change everything over, right? So they bring in, 8, 9 transfers. But as he points out, he says, look, I'm here for a reason in my career. They're also here for a reason in their respective careers. Like, he's at McNeese State because of everything that's happened. Absolutely. The players he brought in are there because of everything that's happened. Now, and they admit they took a chance on him. Okay? I mean, when the athletic director, who sort of knew him through a mutual friend when Way was at Harvard, they bring him in. They said, hey, let's see what we can do. And he said, look, the athletic director said, I'm putting my job on the line too. If we hire Will Wade and the NCAA said, sorry, you can't coach for 3 years, well, that would be bad. I'd be done. He's right. So he went to the university leadership, and, of course, they looked at him like, what are you talking about? And the AD, Schroyer, to his credit, wouldn't back down. He doubled down on it. Okay. So now there's only one holdover on the roster. Okay? And you know what's interesting? It's Shoemate. Shoemate was terrific again yesterday. He's absolutely the one holdover from the previous regime. Right? But they changed over the roster. He says, and Wade says, hey, look, call it what it is. There's a reason we're all at McNeese. He's not wrong.
He's not, no.
He's not wrong. So they win, and we all know what he said at the press conference the other day about NC State. It would be easy for me to sit here and criticize Will Wade, except the rules have all changed.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
The rules have all changed, and guess what? They've all changed in the direction of what he was accused of doing before. It's like Reggie Bush's Heisman Trophy. Well, of course he's getting it back.
Yeah.
What are the rules today?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What's... I mean, when Jordan Addison went from Pitt to USC, what happened to be one of the items that was in the NIL package for him? A house.
Yes. Yep.
What did Reggie Bush get? House. Okay. Now, we can debate whether the rules are right, wrong, and different. We can debate that free and easy. But the bottom line is a lot of things that he was accused of, and look, you have to follow the rules that are in place at the time, right? Aren't rules anymore. So I'm not here to defend him, but I will say this. If I'm sitting at NC State, let's go back to what I talked about. You don't want to be the next school to hire the guy that's in deep trouble. But it's okay to be the next school after that once the other one has taken the hit for doing it. Over and over again. This is proven over and over again. Okay? Talked about Steve Sarkisian. Right? Now, he didn't cheat. I mean, it was off the field stuff. Okay? But he goes to Alabama, 1 year with the Falcons, back to Alabama, takes a few years, gets himself back on track. Boom. Hugh Freeze. Boom. Goes to Liberty. Oh, yeah. Suddenly Auburn doesn't have the inhibition of hiring him. He was at Liberty. Got Liberty on track. Okay? Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino. Oh, boy, he brings a lot of baggage with him. I don't know. You're going to get a lot of criticism when you hire Rick Pitino. Iona hires him. Has success. Guess who doesn't get criticized for hiring him? St. John's.
St. John's.
Guess who doesn't get
Absolutely.
criticized for hiring Steve Sarkisian? Texas. Okay. Guess who's not going to get criticized for hiring Will Wade? NC State. Auburn. Oh, what a great hire. Hugh Freeze. Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss. Well, look what he did at Florida Atlantic. You always want to be the next school after when something like this comes up? Always. Because the criticism is muted. I'm at NC State. You're darn right I go out and let's talk to them and find out what's going on. Because I know what the rules are today. I need a hire that excites my populace. I know NC State was in the Final Four last year. 1 year later, Kevin Keats is out of a job. But you are going into an ACC that is wounded. Okay? You're going into an ACC that is not deep. You are going into an ACC that is ripe for the taking. I'm not saying they could beat Duke. They might be able to beat North Carolina. Right? You saw what the ACC did yesterday. Not a good day.
Not a good day.
Louisville did not look great against Creighton. Clemson looked terrible.
First half especially.
All right?
Awful.
I mean, well, not until the last 7 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Last 7 minutes of the game, they kind of pushed back and got themselves closer. But, for 33 minutes, right, they looked unathletic and looked uninspired and confused.
Yep.
And believe me, Shefflin's not going to be there next year. Hunter's not going to be there. Okay, no, it's like this was the team that was supposed to be the one that could get them over the top, even though they don't have P.J. Hall because he left to go to the NBA. And 2 years ago, I would have been sitting in this chair criticizing NC State for hiring Will Wade. Under today's rules, I can't do it.
Absolutely not.
Right? I'm saying,
Yeah.
under today's rules.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And we'll see how it works out. But everything is different now, and it's not as if the guy doesn't know how to coach. Okay, because he does know how to coach. And we're in a world where today, you know what your currency is? Winning.
Absolutely.
It's the way it is now. So, let's see. So we got the tournament starting at noon today. Xavier's going to play Illinois today. I will make one quick prediction about that. The first time somebody plays defense in that game, it'll be shocking.
Shocking. I had Texas winning that game, so.
Oh, did you? Oh,
I
okay.
did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally, the drawback of having the due date on the brackets moved up.
There you go. Yeah.
I think Illinois is very beatable. I really do. I think will Xavier beat them? I don't know, but I think Illinois is very beatable.
Xavier's a better matchup for them than Texas.
I agree.
Seriously, the thing about Texas, I mentioned about Rodney Terry yesterday, nothing ever came out. There's been stories that he's going to get fired, but they haven't officially fired him
yet. Yeah.
What are we waiting to tonight at midnight? Or I don't know. how pathetic to me is sports reporting today when I go online today and I see Bronny James scored 17 points. Look, I'm not... boy. Okay. I'm thrilled that he's in the league.
Sure. Same.
Right? I'm happy for his father who's in the league. But, like... And it's... To his credit, he's in the league. But I don't understand why he continues to be a big story. Like, there are other players that had better nights than him last night. But he has a headline? I mean, when somebody's in the league, you got to treat him like everybody else. That's
Agreed.
just me. That's just me.
That's fully agree. Fully agree.
One story to look for from Memphis, Tyrese Hunter, left foot injury that he suffered in the American semifinals, will not be playing today. Okay? So that's one to watch for. That is Memphis playing that game today. So the NCAA opening round today, okay, here on day 2, looks as follows. Opening game is at 12:15, Baylor, Mississippi State. That's on CBS. Robert Morris against Alabama, True TV at 12:40. Lipscomb against Iowa State, 1:30 on TNT. Okay, we mentioned Tyrese Hunter won't play. Memphis will take on Colorado State at 2 o'clock on TBS. It appears that there's a chance Cooper Flagg is going to play today. Duke will take on Mount St. Mary's at 2:50 on CBS. Vanderbilt will take on St. Mary's at 3:15 on True TV. North Carolina and Ole Miss at 4:05 on TNT. Grand Canyon against Maryland, 4:35 TBS. Now the night games. Norfolk State, Florida, 6:50 TNT. Troy, Kentucky, 7:10 CBS. New Mexico, Marquette, 7:25 TBS. Akron against Arizona, 7:35 True TV. Oklahoma, UConn, 9:25 TNT. Xavier, Illinois, 9:45 CBS. Bryant, Michigan State, 10 o'clock TBS. And the last game of the day, Liberty against Oregon at 10:10 on True TV. Don't think Nate Biddle is a guy that Liberty can handle. Liberty's also not a great free throw shooting team, but they're weird. They're a really good 3-point shooting team. They're not a good free throw shooting team. It's like strange. Now, okay, there is one guy on the rehab trail here that didn't have an in-between stop. That's Chris Beard at Ole Miss. But you hear anybody complaining about him right now? Nope. Winning is the greatest elixir.
100%.
Right. But there you go. There's the tournament. And then Penn State wrestling 20-0. We started out with that at the beginning of the show. Did the first 20 minutes on that. But that's... Oh, by the way, did you see that 2 more Georgia players have been suspended indefinitely for driving violations? One allegedly drove a car into a house. It just...
My goodness.
I just don't. And then there's the Matt Weiss story. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just delve into that quickly. I don't know what's going on here.
No, I don't either.
He has been indicted and charged with seeking intimate photos and videos of thousands of college athletes. He's been charged with 14 counts of unauthorized computer access and 10 counts of identity theft. They filed the indictment in a federal court in Detroit. Weiss had been the offensive coordinator of Michigan, was fired in 2023. I think it was like January of that year.
Yep.
From 2015 to 2023, Weiss gained access to the databases of more than 100 colleges and universities that were maintained by a third-party vendor, Keffer Development Services. He then downloaded the personal information and medical data for more than 150,000 athletes, according to the indictment. The 14-page document portrays him as a computer whiz, saying Weiss cracked the encryption protection passwords and assisted by research that he did on the internet. He then got access to the social media, email, and cloud storage accounts of more than 2,000 athletes, as well as more than 1,300 students or alumni from schools from across the country, according to the indictment. Weiss primarily targeted female college athletes, the indictment said. He researched and targeted these women based on their school affiliation, athletic history, and physical characteristics. His goal was to obtain private photographs and videos never intended to be shared beyond intimate partners. Weiss kept notes on photos and videos that he downloaded, commenting on the bodies and sexual preferences and sometimes returning years later to look for new images, the indictment said. Our office will move more aggressively to prosecute computer hacking to protect the private accounts of our citizens, said Julie Beck, who's the acting U.S. attorney in Detroit. Weiss had been an assistant coach with the Ravens under John Harbaugh. He then moved to Michigan to work with Jim Harbaugh. This is like McDonald, who's the head coach with the Seattle Seahawks. McDonald, Michigan, Ravens, Michigan, you know what I mean? They've had that shuttle for years. Well, that happened with Weiss. It had been publicly known for 2 years that Weiss was under scrutiny. His Ann Arbor home was searched by the police in January 2023, shortly before he was fired. He said at the time that he was cooperating and looking forward to the matter being resolved. They have not determined yet when his initial court appearance is going to be. We'll let the story sit for itself. I don't think there's really anything I need to say about it.
No, this is...
No, it's just nothing to say about it. It's
and not only Michigan, it's a former NFL assistant. That's the other unfortunate part of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not about where he worked.
No, it's not about where he worked at all, but
it's about who he is.
Exactly.
Right. It's about who he is.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that's, wow.
Yeah, sometimes the story just speaks for itself.
Yep.
And that's
exactly.
That's where it is.
Yep. So, well, okay. Well, that wraps up this show. I thought really it was one of your better ones. You can say thank you. You know what? Better yet, I should say thank you to you.
There it is.
I thought it was one of your better shows. Thank you for, I don't know what you said.
I was going to say thank you, but I don't know what I said. I was thinking that too.
I'm just, it's a gut feeling on my part. Gut feeling. So, golly.
I added more than Monty from Major League. I will say that. I think I added a little bit more than that.
Monty, anything you want to say?
No.
Nope. He's not the best color guy in the league for nothing.
I heard that. Dynamite dropping Monty, that broadcast school has really paid off.
Monty, take over. I'm gone.
Fly ball caught.
Fly ball caught. Oh, God. It's like watching Jerry Valeri do his show. All right, so, what? No instincts, just says whatever he thinks of first.